Yeah, I think she's got hers.
So good morning, Warren.
Good morning. How are you?
Good,
Thank
good,
you.
good. So it is Thursday, April 6th. The time is 11:01. We are here this morning to discuss Coastal Florida Police Benevolent Association Lieutenants collective bargaining negotiations. Oh, you brought one, sorry.
Oh, we're all doing it, okay.
We'll have to.
Here, we can just do this one, Candace.
Thank you.
Just one more, so
Alright.
versus. I'll get IT in here real quick to give you the network drive so I can put that right on it. I did not know.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
I'm trying to drink this coffee for 2 hours. It's probably cold.
At least it's in a
Mm.
thermal container.
Yeah, it's actually still warm. Sorry to interrupt.
It's okay. So as Nick's pulling it up, we did get the entire agreement converted from PDF
To Word?
To Word. That was, we had to retype it
Oh.
in entirety, basically. It was part of the network lawsuit last year.
Okay.
So I mean, we had the PDFs,
Right.
and I had the MOU that we did last year, but everything else we had to start from scratch. So thank you.
See if that's, yeah, there it is. Should
Thank
be
you.
all good.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
So,
Quick and easy.
so as we discussed, I can now send it out to you.
Perfect.
Because this is just that was the PDF copy. So again, as I when we send this to you, Warren, is we just want to make sure that we are, you're doing the track changes.
Okay.
So that anything that you see that y'all are looking to add, it's captured.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll make it a whole lot easier than
Yeah.
me starting over and retyping whole article.
Yeah, that's no fun.
Oops. So we will defer to you at this time.
Okay, well, a couple of things. I know we didn't get a chance to meet immediately after the shade meeting last time, after I kind of gave you an overview of what we were going to be asking for. So I guess my first question is, how did that go?
So we shared with them where y'all were looking at. We talked about the private automobiles in generalities.
Okay.
So talked about the private automobiles, the retirement, and the wages. That those were the articles that we were wanting to really keen on with you this year that you brought up.
Right.
They know that again, I didn't share with them what you were asking for.
Okay.
Because I don't want to have any shutdown immediately.
Okay, so we don't have a counter at this point.
There's no counter at this point.
Okay.
So what we shared with them is that we want to have, the monetary, just like I told you, we want to have all the monetary items done by, the end of June, if at all possible. So, I will, so speaking about wages, Sharon's already went out there starting to do surveys to see where we're at. so that, we can, either defend, and support or
Right.
counter on
Right.
the wages, because
I'm gonna give you all the ammunition you need to support, probably today.
okay.
But,
And then the other thing that
Yeah.
council has directed us to do too is to also, as we've done salary surveys, and it's kind of hard to do the surveys in some cases on lieutenants. That we tend to focus more on the starting salary of a
Right.
police officer, because generally a lieutenant, it's not a posted position, it's a promotion internally, blah, blah, blah. But council's made it very clear, we always want to be in the top 3 in terms of pay, of the other cities. And, so with that said, is like, right now, salaries for police is just changing constantly,
Mhm.
starting salaries. Just trying to be competitive with that, it's almost a daily moving target.
Yes.
right,
We've been told, because it was in the paper, it's just like Daytona, it's been told to the police chief, whatever you have to pay,
right,
but and I've said this, well, I haven't really said this to you before, because we haven't negotiated. We're just in a lot different financial situation. That doesn't mean anything when I say
right, right, that's
yeah,
fine.
Yeah, but it's just like, Tanger's came online.
Right,
Well, I'll give it to you this way. When Trader Joe's Center came on board, that was almost, so that was $100 million build, and it got taxed by the property appraiser at $39 million. Okay? So you take $39 million and divide that by 1,000, and the tax rate of Daytona
Daytona.
Beach, which is what?
it's a little over 7 million.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
like 7.25. That was $2 million overnight.
Right,
So.
right, but I mean, we got apartments going up
No,
everywhere.
agree with you.
we got,
Agree with you. Yeah, no dispute.
Yeah.
But the economies of scale is just so much different.
Right,
So so with that said, we've made sure that we have shared with council what we feel is a reasonable across the board increase and operating supplies of what the required millage rate would
right,
be.
we talked about that last time.
Correct,
6.5 and 3.5. So
Yes.
you're at 10
Yes.
for the city.
Yep.
So that's a good jump off point for us.
Yep.
It doesn't get us where we need to be,
Yep.
but it's a good jump off
Yep.
point.
So again, I know that this is an ask. That's why I'm just trying to lay the groundwork with council that what the anticipated, millage will be required
Right.
to fund the ask.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a significant difference there as well, right? You say Trader Joe's, they're getting it at 7.25. We're still not at 5 for a millage
Correct.
rate. You know what I mean? So putting that back on us isn't really fair. We need to raise the millage rate. I hate it. Guy, I get it.
Yep.
But this city isn't 40,000 people anymore,
Correct.
and it's not 1990 anymore,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While I can appreciate the fact that they don't want to raise millage rate any more than they have to, I think clearly with 6.5% in CPI, 3.5% in what you anticipate your operating costs are going to be, we're starting at 10 just to get even, and then you haven't paid your people yet.
Correct. So
You know what I mean?
So I've been very, I hope, transparent with council.
Yeah.
On again, I went middle of the road where I believe we can potentially settle at,
Mm-hmm.
and that's without me telling council anything that you've asked.
Right.
Is that I've tried to be very clear in that this is where we're going to have to go just to fund everything. And, and that's being fair to all employees. Not PBA, not NAGE, not,
Right.
IFF, fair to all employees.
Right. And, when you speak about fairness, right, this isn't happening in a vacuum. Like, we know
Correct.
the MOU that is potentially going to be offered to IUPA as a stopgap. right?
Correct.
So that would be $1.95.
Mm-hmm.
They've also gotten the last 2 years of their previous contract, the $500 stipends that the lieutenants didn't get. Right? The last 2 years of their previous contract, they got $500 per year service and stipend, the lieutenants didn't. What we're looking at, especially with this $1.95 raise, is now a really bad compression issue.
Mhm.
I can show you, and I think I brought them with me, 2 W-2s from sergeants who made significantly more than any lieutenant last year. Now, that does include overtime, I'm not trying to hide
Mhm.
anything, but significantly more money
Mhm.
than any lieutenant did. So we already had a compression
Right.
issue before this. Now, offering them $1.95 across
Mhm.
the board, I don't think that's coming to
Right.
the lieutenants. Doesn't sound like it is. I thought you would open with that if it was.
No, no, sir, that was not a offering.
Yeah, so we got an issue,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure that the number I asked for is going to be enough. With an additional, I'll have to figure out, I haven't looked at what those sergeant's hourly rates are, but adding the $1.95 to that is probably going to push them over that number that I gave you.
Right. Understood.
And we don't have the opportunity to earn overtime. So we have a salary, that's what we get. I don't know how many other places in the city people you supervise make more money than you, but
Right.
that's not good. And it's unsustainable,
Right.
right? So,
Are you looking at salary versus hourly on the lieutenants as well, and the other agencies?
I just have the salaries for them. I didn't have it.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe-
know who's
Okay.
salary or who's hourly.
I have all of that
You may
stuff
know.
if you
Okay.
need it,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be great because, the more
Okay,
you can
I
get us, the
didn't
better.
bring, I did not bring the W-2s, but I have them
Okay.
for the lieutenants. I did bring just, Daytona was really great when I did the public records request. I literally listed all 9 lieutenants, what their hourly rate is, and then what their actual earnings for the year were, which Daytona lieutenants are eligible for overtime, and most of them basically doubled their income.
Just to be fair,
Mhm.
is that due to outside employment flowing through the city?
I don't know. It's total overtime. So
Right.
what I have is their W-2, which is X amount of dollars. But then they are also eligible to get
Right.
overtime from the PD.
Right.
I did not use their total numbers when
Right.
I did my figure, and I did their salaries.
Yeah, because, I also want to be apples to apples, as I realize that here,
Right.
we do not have a lot of opportunity for outside employment
Right,
versus Daytona is probably almost an unlimited,
sure.
et cetera,
Right, but
so.
just with their base salaries, we're not competitive.
Well, that's what I want to make sure that we're comparing.
Yes.
Because that, I
Yes,
promise you,
you'll
Warren,
see,
that's what I will be asked.
Yeah, okay. And I'll be more than happy to provide all the evidence you need.
Correct.
So I guess let's start with the easy one, the take-home vehicles article.
Article 18.
Okay. What Greg forehand did was he just added another article number 36. And just here for y'all, for each of you. That's just the article. This is one I think we could probably TA today if you were ready to. All it really does is incorporate, as the statute says, it incorporates that we're covered if we deviate to and from work because the policy permits it. What did I do with my copy of it?
Since it pertains to a statute, I
Yeah.
would be more comfortable having,
Matt Jones looking at it.
what's his name, Matt review it.
Yep.
But I mean, you're just quoting the statute,
Right.
so I'm,
Right.
So that one should be pretty easy. If you want to take it back, we can TA it next meeting or whatever.
yeah.
If you would like to have the full policy in there, that doesn't bother me either. If you cut and paste the policy, that's basically,
But
Yeah.
would you be opposed to putting it under, do you want to have it as a separate article, or putting it
Well, let's,
under 18?
well, let me ask you a question.
statute
though.
only requires that it's in the collective bargaining agreement. I don't care where.
Correct, but my question is, how much private automobile usage is there?
There's not. The policy permits you to stop like at the gym, a convenience store, that kind of stuff.
For a gallon
No,
of
no, no,
milk.
no.
Right.
No, private automobile usage.
This is not private
I
automobile.
understand, that's why I'm asking, how much
We-
private automobile usage?
Basic loan or something like
Yeah.
that.
City policy and procedure for private vehicle use.
Because we already have policies for this.
And it's pretty much,
Longer applicable instead of Article 36. Correct. So I can tell you that I can provide, and because if it's not in a CBA, how you get not only mileage, but reimbursed for, food, incidentals, everything.
Okay, again, I'm not uncomfortable with that, but I'm not gonna do it without running it by the
Understood.
attorney first.
Yep, so my response to this request would be, let's revise Article 18 to
Okay.
be take-home vehicles with your language, and 18.1 and 18.2 would be stricken and then would fall under personnel policies and procedures.
Right.
And I will provide that to you.
I get what you're asking, and I'm not uncomfortable with it, but not something I'm gonna take a stand on today, that's all.
understood.
Okay?
So, really, the only other thing, obviously, based on the phone call yesterday and waiting the 30 days for determination, we're not gonna talk about anything with the pension yet.
Yeah. On that, have you followed up with Chad on where he is on?
Chad
the
is at
6?
full stop. He is at full stop until we get a determination of whether or not we're crediting the benefits right. He doesn't have a valuation, a correct valuation, possibly, right? Some of his valuations have to be wrong, either the ones from 2015 to 2020 or the ones in 21 and 22. So we need to get them corrected before he will do anything else
Right.
moving forward. That's what I was trying to say on the phone
Right.
yesterday. And I do
No,
have.
no, I understand that, but so he's not even looking at the 6 other
He is not.
items?
He is not doing anything
Jared
until
aware of that?
he gets, I don't know if Jared is or not. But he made that very clear to myself and Karen. He's not doing anything till we get it. And that's what I was trying to say yesterday on the phone, is we can't go forward if, I will tell you that we have a guy who is going to be retiring within the next couple of weeks. He's going to work for the sheriff's office.
Is that?
And we need to do,
Lieutenant or?
no, he's not a lieutenant, he's rank and file.
Okay.
But he is, we're gonna have to run his numbers
Right,
based on what we have, and they're probably, one way or the other, they're not probably, he's tier 2, so it should be easier, but his may not be correct. We're gonna have to do a correction, either pay him back or he's gonna owe the pension fund. We're lucky in that he's not collecting right away, he's not 48 yet, so he's not gonna collect right away.
well, and I want to just reiterate what Mr. Lynn said yesterday. There's
Mm-hmm.
already provisions in the state on how to handle if there was a mistake. Because
Right,
this has, look.
Where we disagree is that there was a mistake.
No, right. Well, no, but if there was,
Yeah.
but I can tell you in 12 years of dealing with this, the way the state made that, ultimatum,
Right.
this has been a sticking point, and created confusion, left and right.
I actually think that the auditor report, and I didn't see it while we were on the phone, or I would have brought it up, we'll talk about it after this, but I think the auditor's report makes it really clear that they should be pensionable.
And again, I'm going to reiterate.
Yeah.
If I have a document in my hand
Right,
from your attorney that my attorney concurs with, I don't have a problem. It just, it's not crystal clear. Okay?
right.
And I will tell you that.
And going to full stop when something's not crystal clear, I don't agree with. right, we to do this, instead of just
But for the
not paying
record,
it out.
but for the record, we've done it the same way it was done the year before.
Correct, and nobody told us the year
So-
before.
so
And
your
and the
new
4 years
payroll-
prior to
right.
that, it was not done
Right.
that way.
But your
So 2021, y'all did it and didn't even tell
Right.
anybody.
right.
And 2022, we only found it because of the
Right.
mistakes on the, so you didn't tell us in 21 or
Right.
22. We discovered it because of the low values on their pensionable statement, on their pension
Yeah.
statements.
And I only knew about it more than a week and a half ago.
Okay.
You know, so this was not
Right.
something that John or Sharon
No,
or anyone
I'm not.
on your city staff.
Right, well, somebody did it last
intentionally.
year.
And unfortunately, I can't walk over there and ask them.
Right.
Because not one of
Did it last
Yep.
year, didn't tell anybody. And then they reported the pensionable earnings correctly, but didn't take out the employee portion of the
Correct.
pension or the city part in 2021. In 2022,
Yep.
the report that Chad got was without the pensionable
Yep.
earnings, what I
Yeah.
will call pensionable earnings.
And I believe that as a guide,
Mhm.
if it comes out that we did something incorrectly, that based on what was done in 15, the city paid it. And it included the city and employer. Let me back up. The city paid it, both employee portion.
Correct, the city offered that.
Correct, and they did. You know, that was clear in, you know,
Mhm.
what, you know.
Mhm.
So Linda listened to the entire September recording yesterday.
Okay, I didn't listen to the entire one, I listened
Yeah,
to the part
it was
that dealt
3
with that.
hours.
Yeah, 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And only thing Jamie alluded to was there was a audit review, there was some over/under, and we're
We're gonna
correcting
make the
it.
payments.
There was nothing else elaborated.
Correct,
So we're going back and listening to the February meeting.
very good, very
So
good,
she's probably doing that now as we speak.
very good.
You know, so
I brought that, and like I said, I was gonna wait till we got offline, but since we're
yeah,
there.
it doesn't matter. I'm on your time.
Right, since we're there,
You know, so we want to make sure that, you know, if there's an issue, and it's kind of like if you, Warren, I'm just using you, Warren, because you're the one sitting in front of me.
right,
Is if there was $350 of employee contributions that wasn't made, then what was established in 15 from that audit, the city paid it.
right, no
So,
question
so I
about
want to
it.
make sure that, you know, I feel that we would do the same thing if we come out in the end that we should have been treating it as pensionable. I don't in no way, shape, or form want to hurt the employee on a, you know, potential error on the
Right.
city part.
Right,
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
where I want to leave that one.
okay, all right, we'll
You
talk
agree?
about the other thing
Okay.
when we get offline. But I think that makes it pretty clear what the
Yep.
intention was.
Thank you.
Okay, where are we at? So we'll wait on that. I gotta talk to the attorney about replacing Article 18. Okay, so I want to reserve the right to change that number that I gave you in the first meeting because of this 1.5% pay.
You talk about the wages?
MOU, yeah, the wages.
Yes,
number.
sir. Yep.
But what I will do is provide you with some background and supporting documentation for why we're asking for that number, which may go up a little bit at this point.
Mhm.
Why I'm asking for what I'm asking
Okay.
for. Okay. So, the first set of paperwork I'm gonna give you is for, VCSO. You said you wanted me in the top 3. The top 3 are Daytona, VCSO, and hopefully us, moving forward. These are the 3 from the county, and I'll explain each one as we go. Thank you for that. There you go. I don't know what I did with my copies. I think I'm giving you guys my copies is what I'm doing.
You want one back?
No, I got more. I made plenty. So, what I did, the county, a brand new lieutenant at the county starts at a $90,000 base pay. That is in an email that is attached there. You will see that from their HR or their clerk. I forget who it was that responded. They also get, per Chief Deputy Henderson, they also get a $4,500 stipend for being watch commanders, which almost all the new lieutenants are. And 4 of our 5 lieutenants would qualify as a watch commander for the county. They also have their family benefits paid for by the county. So if you start with that $90,000 number, that's why I gave you that compensation worksheet. You start with that $90,000 number, you add that $4,500 stipend, now we're at $94,500. Their health coverage is covered. What I did was took our 3 plan rates, averaged them, and added and worked that out. So that ends up being $7,662.32 per year. So when you add that to the 94.5, you get 102,162. The county is paying 3% into their pension. We're paying 7.5%. So the take-home difference in that is $4,597.29.
They're FRS.
They are FRS, correct. So that, in Port Orange terms, the average starting lieutenant at VCSO is at 106,759.29. VCSO has approached IUPA about negotiating. Now that's rank and file, but the sheriff does have a history of what he gives rank and file, he gives to his non-union and public employees. Okay, so they're at basically 107 and in negotiations. Okay, that's where VCSO's at.
Right.
I will give you Daytona. Daytona was great. Daytona gave me a list of all their 9 lieutenants and what their current hourly rate is. Now, I asked for this before April 2nd. On April 2nd, as you will see on the second page I gave you, they got a raise of 4%. Of their 9 lieutenants, pre-April 2nd, their average income was $47.73 per hour. They got that raise on April 2nd that moved them on average to $49.64 an hour. Multiply that times the 2184 hours they work in a year, that's 108,414.53 yearly. They do contribute to their pension 10%, and we're at 7.5. I didn't do that math. It just came into my head. I probably should have done that to get you a fair
That first
number to
lieutenant,
number.
he's been there a long time.
Yeah, look at the last one. Look at the last one. Look at his gross.
Oh, I wasn't looking at the pay. I was just looking at their hire
their
date.
time.
Whoa.
Yeah. You know, most of them are newer than us, though, right? Most of their lieutenants are newer than your most junior lieutenant. So and again, they too are in negotiations for October 1. So Daytona's at 108,414, the county's at 106,759, and both are in negotiations for October 1. That's how I got to the number I got to.
Understood.
Not only that, but we have 2 sergeants who made it over 100 here. I thought I had their W-2s with me. I must have left them on my desk.
Who were they?
But I have copies. Sergeant Fields and Sergeant Nagy.
What was that last name?
Nagy, N-A-G-Y. Nagy was the highest paid. He was like at 106, and Fields was at like 101. I could have sworn I brought their W-2s, but apparently I did
Well,
not.
we had access to it.
Yes. All of that, by the way, all of this information was pursuant to public records request. There's nothing, I didn't do anything privately.
Understood.
So that is my defense and your information to provide to council as to why I asked for what I did. And with the $1.95, it may go up just a little bit, you know, because for on $1.95 works out times 195. What's that end up being? Like $5,000?
What did you ask?
Well, just doing the 2184, the regular hours that we work times the $1.95. 1.95 times
$4,258.80.
Yeah, so that's another $4,300, $4,200 that if the sergeant made exactly the same as he did last time. The 110 would make us basically even with what Sergeant Nagy made last year.
Okay.
We clearly have a compression issue between the sergeants and the lieutenants.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand that there's overtime included in the sergeant's salaries, but it's built into their schedule, right?
How many extra shifts do you'll pull, or is that very rare?
For the lieutenants, we don't, right? Because we're not eligible for overtime or compensation time. So what we have to do is either give the time to the city, which all of us do, just about every pay period we give you some time, or we have to flex it off because we're salary.
But in general, how many extra shifts do you pull, or is that very rare?
It's rare that we pull a full extra shift. It is very common where we'll have a meeting or something scheduled that we need to go to on our scheduled days off, like this today. You know, I'm scheduled to work today, but I have to flex off for the holiday tomorrow, so this is on my time.
Gotcha. Okay. So then can we just, we did wages, and we're holding off on our
Yeah, all
retirement.
of the retirement stuff we gotta hold off.
So if we kind of look at the other articles, are you satisfied with the other articles as is?
For the most part, yes, sir. Obviously, depending on the determination of what we talked about yesterday, there's gonna need to be an article change if it's determined that they are pensionable. It very clearly says in the CBA, which matches the ordinance, that lump sum sick and vacation overages are non-pensionable, and they should be. So that will have to be stricken.
What article is that?
Retirement is 25.
Yeah. But obviously that won't happen until we get a determination.
So D is where it talks about excluded from the calculation.
Yeah, I must have left a whole pile of paperwork. We had, just for the record, we had 2 more resignations yesterday. So,
Do you know where they
our
went?
total number, one was a trainee who's, I don't know what he's doing, and the other left absolutely for more money. His letter of resignation is pretty succinct about it. So, Bunnell is hiring guys that more than they can transfer over there and keep their rank and keep their years of service.
Yeah.
And it's a significant pay raise for them.
But we have that too, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, we already have in our CBA for IUPA that the chief can hire at a higher rate.
Right.
So that's already in place.
Right.
So, if you got someone from Ormond that wants to come over here, and they got 4 years of service, we can bring them in. Same with us if.
Yeah, that happened for me when I got hired here. They brought me in at higher than the starting rate because I had experience. And that's the problem is that it's so much more money, right? Our sergeants can go over there and make more money. Now, I don't know that they're still hiring sergeants. Yeah, Bunnell, Edgewater's looking to double the size of their police force because they see what's coming. They got that big wave pool complex coming and all that stuff. They're building a new PD out on the west side, and we know
I can't
Daytona
speed anymore. It's right across the street from my house.
That's not good. At least I think that that rip-off artist in the gas station will have to come down on his prices to compete.
I have noticed that he's a lot less than, he's like half of what he was.
Yeah, he used more.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he finally figured it out, no one local.
Yeah, it was going there. Yeah, he was just getting them off the highway.
Yep.
So.
Okay. So then we have the retirement plan. So then Duration of the agreement, are you still okay with a 3-year?
I'd rather, for right now, let's just keep it as 1 year, and we'll see if it's something we can work out. Just, you said it yourself, the pay rates with police are just skyrocketing right now. And
Well,
it's like getting
that's-
locked into a 3-year deal.
No, that
No,
would,
no. I still want to keep the wages would be open in year 2 and 3. I would not want to change anything of wages. That would still be an opener. What
Okay.
I want to try and do is that, we've expressed to council how much work this is
Right.
every year if we only do a 12-month contract. We for all of us,
Mm-hmm.
it would make sense to have a 3-year contract with, wage openers.
Right.
And
All
I'm not even
you know.
opposed to, if you wanted to, have, 1 or 2 articles also.
Right. I'm not opposed to that, depending on the outcome of these negotiations, right?
Okay.
If there's significant stuff still left on the table moving forward, then no, I'm probably not gonna agree to more than a 1-year deal.
Understood.
If we can get to something that's reasonable,
Yep.
and you can see, I don't have a whole lot of room to move.
Right.
If we can get to something that's reasonable, then fine. You know, but I don't wanna get locked into saying, yeah, we'll sign a 3-year deal,
Okay.
not knowing what the results, we're just way too early.
Well, I think that, we can, we're scheduled for 3 weeks away. I think we can have something for you. And again, the city is not screaming that, the pensionable earnings is an issue.
Right.
It's just the fact that, we did it, doesn't matter. We followed the precedent, the way we read the,
Well, the precedent
ordinance.
it was
But-
pensionable.
but
That was the
last year,
precedent.
Last year.
Last year, yes.
So again, when, and I'm not trying to rehash it.
Right.
So, but we're looking at it, we will give it back to you. Just remember, 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Oh, agreed.
And we'll come back to that.
Agreed. I think though, that since we're talking about it,
Well, I thought we were gonna hold that off.
we can, we
Yep,
can do
so-
that?
So then, if we look at this, I believe that our next scheduled date is on April the 28th at 2 p.m.
Okay. Yes, that's what I have.
Okay? So, I guess if there is nothing else for today, pending our review of the wages and retirement article, you're gonna get back with us on, so here's what I owe you. For Article 18,
Right.
I owe you the current city policy for travel, which includes personal automobile usage.
Okay.
Okay? You owe me to look at, based on what you see on that, on whether or not we can replace,
18.
strike 18 out and then insert the new language on automobile usage, or the take-home vehicle, in compliance with state statute.
Right.
On Article 24, we're going to be reviewing the comparisons that you provided of the other 2 agencies, in addition to the 2 sergeants that you provided.
Okay.
And then on Article 25, that's pending the review by staff on the pensionable wages, pensionable compensation.
Okay.
Make sure we do it to the ordinance. And we will be getting back to you with a resolution at our next scheduled meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay? If there's nothing else, then I would like to end this meeting at 11:41.
Sounds good to me.
Okay?
Thanks. So I didn't see this till we got off the phone call.